Well, here we are again. It's Friday morning, and it's time for our weekly update. The cows, it's sitting on there at the moment. It's not actually fitted properly. It's looking pretty much exactly how I imagined it all those weeks ago when you saw some of the earlier videos. There won't be a lot of clearance in here between the exhaust and the fiberglass, but there will be a stainless steel heat shield to protect the paintwork and the fiberglass cowling. But no, I'm pretty happy with it. It's looking good. I haven't progressed any further on these wing root fairings. Yeah, I've got them cut and ready to. I'll attach them to the underside of the wing and then fiberglass the gap, then take them off and fiberglass the inside. I know, that'll allow the wings to come off and the wings can progress, and the fuselage can then be, I can think about covering the fuselage. Control surfaces are all in a different sort of state of affairs. I've got an aileron here that's in the process of being stripped, having its fabric taken off and replaced. The main reason for doing this is I stuffed up with the tapes. I confused the anti-chafing tape with the reinforcing tape. And no, I'm not having that. I have to fix it. So this has been stripped off. This glue, the Eco Bond, actually comes. It sticks like crazy to the surface, to the metal. To get it off, you use an eraser like this. And if you rub on it, which is tricky to do to film but it actually balls up and it comes off without putting up too much of a fight. Now I'm making it look difficult because I'm doing it one-handed, but I don't think a solvent would take it off quite as well. I'm doing the same thing with my finger here as I was with the rubber, but it's the eraser. But yeah, it comes off in balls like that, and yeah, so it cleans up quite well. I've done the other aileron. Matter of fact, it's we'll have a look at that next because it's in the next process. It's gone one step further. The fabric has been fitted to this aileron. It's been attached all around the edges, but the fabric hasn't been shrunk yet. You see it's still got wrinkles in it. There's, I don't know, you can probably see something there, which is a crease in the fabric. Yeah, so that's the next stage for this is with my trusty $14 iron, which looks like it was made for kids, but it clearly isn't, is to go ahead and shrink that fabric to with the iron set at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That'll shrink the fabric. Then I can go ahead and put my tapes on. Yeah, on this particular aileron, the anti-chafing tape's fitted underneath. I decided to use it. I agonised over it for quite a long time, but eventually I decided to fit anti-chafing tape, which is fitted to that metal rib. Once it's shrunk and the fabric's pulled where it wants to go, Then I will melt these through these holes. Then I'll put a piece of reinforcing tape over the top and go through its, melt through its holes to line up with these ones, and then rivet the whole assembly down, and then the finishing tapes go on over the top. So there's still a few more, not very long, but a few more processes to do to this aileron. Okay, this wing's still in the same state that it was last Friday, and then it gets painted with the Eco Fill. The Eco Fill is a UV protector for the fabric, and it's also a fire retardant. Let's see, the rudder is up to where it needs to be washed. It gets washed with a degreaser, and then it gets rinsed off with lots and lots of fresh water to get rid of the degreaser. Then it gets the treatment with the Eco Bond, the green stuff. It gets filled with, the pores of the fabric get filled with the Eco Bond. Okay, I wasn't really intending to show you this bit, but anyway, this is the aileron, because it's my favourite bit, let's face it. The fabric has wrinkles that you may or may not be able to see. I've got my trusty iron somewhere there. I have moved the trusty iron over here where you can see it. I've got my infrared thermometer. The iron is set so that it doesn't really overshoot 250. It's got a control band. It doesn't control at exactly 250. You ask for 250. I ask for 250 maximum, and it ranges from about 210 to 250. But rest assured that as soon as you put it on the job and it cools down, the thermostat will click in and it will fire up again. So long as I don't overshoot the 250 by too much and too often, then I think everything should be okay. What we're going to do to shrink this fabric is we're going to do this panel, for instance. This is where I'll start. I'll miss that panel, and then I'll shrink that one, and I'll miss the next one, and so on. I want it to come down sort of fairly evenly. So let's see how we go. We'll just stay here in the middle somewhere, and we'll just look at that. Those wrinkles disappeared immediately, absolutely immediately. This is the lighter gauge fabric on this aileron. I'm replacing the fabric on the, oops, not doing that one. I'm replacing the fabric on the empennage bits with heavier grade, with medium grade. But here on the ailerons, they're not subjected to the same propeller loads that the empennage is. Look at that, shrinking up beautifully. It's absolutely fabulous. Then do the other intermediate ones. But there goes those wrinkles. I'll bring it down here where I'm working. Somewhere there. This is just absolutely fabulous. At the same time, we can take some of these crinkles out of tapes, if there are any of the pinked bits sticking up, we can iron them down at this point in time as well. Look at that, beautiful. It really is, I love it. This is the best part of the whole fabric covering process, in fact. Now I can come along and do all of them. But now we know exactly where these holes are in the rib. The fabric has now pulled itself into position so that it's where it's going to finally rest. So we can now drill those holes, or what I do is I melt the holes through with my soldering iron and put in the rivets. Piece of cake. All right, now that's about as far as I want to take this for now. Alrighty, this is Eco Clean. Where are we? Yeah, it's 15% Eco Clean anyway. It just simply gets it's a degreaser, and it's an acid, so probably not a good idea to be doing it without a mask. But I'm out in the breeze, and I'm crosswind to it. The wind's coming this direction, so it's just a simple matter of whiz it on and wipe it down. Simple as that, but nothing more elaborate than this. And you'd be amazed. This, well, actually, that's quite clean, but it will bring a lot of dirt out of it. Now the fun part is to just hose it off. And the Stewart system says to use, I don't know, distilled water or something. Well, in fact, this is rainwater that I'm using. And, we're 400 kilometres from any sort of industry, so we're not going to get much cleaner except in Canada, maybe. In the backwater. And there we go. All right. The next step is we want to seal the fabric on the rudder. So we need to mix our green stuff, our Eco Bond, 3-to-1 by weight with water. So we just zero the scale. That's just some plastic so that the scale doesn't get all covered in whatever I spill. And we don't need very much of this green stuff, so I'm sort of guessing we're going to have a bit of wastage. And believe it or not, this stuff goes a very long way, so I'm not too concerned about wastage. So I'm going to start with, say, 300 and 100. 300 grams. Maybe 300 grams is a lot. Okay, how about 200 is 50. Yeah. How about 100? 80, 88, 90, 92, 98, 98, 100. Okay, how about 100? And 33. 16. 24, 28, 30. There we go, 33, 38. A little bit much. Anyway. We'll give that a little bit of a stir up. Yeah, that's lots. Get over here where you can see what's going on. There's a tiny bit more water than there needs to be, but that's okay. The water is the volatile part. It will evaporate. All right, that's reasonable. Okay, yeah, so 100 grams is really quite a lot. We're going to apply it with this thing, this foam brush. This is a new one. Not that that makes too much difference, so long as the foam doesn't fall off it and start contaminating the surface that you're trying to coat. Might actually take this outside and do it. Also, I'll switch you off and we'll start again when I get back set up outside. Alrighty, let's see how we go here. Got this. We want to. We're not trying to paint the green bits. We're only trying to paint the white bits. And we're trying to paint it in all different directions so that the weave gets completely covered. This way. This way. I'm just brushing it off this green bit where I've spilled a bit on there. the ailerons are both advancing. This one is ready for covering. I need to deburr these couple of holes here. These are extra holes, this one and this one. Originally I just had the middle one, but I've decided to add 3 rivets, or 6 rivets, there's 3 on the bottom as well, per rib. So that'll happen probably tomorrow. Well, I don't normally work on a Sunday, and this Sunday I've got something else planned. So anyway, so that's that aileron. Really good, ready to go. This other aileron, put that over there. I'll swap places. Bring this one back here. This aileron obviously has been recovered, and it's ready for its reinforcing tapes and its rivets. So I think step 1 is I will melt these holes through the fabric, and then tomorrow I can draw a straight line, attach my reinforcing tapes, get that all down, and then the final finishing tapes go on, the pinked ones. So anyway, let's see how we go here. This is another one of those relatively satisfying jobs. I'll start up here at the end. I've got my trusty soldering iron that's been ground to a point, and you just pick up the rivet hole. If you can't see the rivet hole very well, I'm not sure about now that it's got fabric on, but you can use a light and put it underneath, and yep, there it is, sort of. The light does shine up through the hole, but I can actually see the hole without any help from the light, so we don't need to use that now, but we may need to use it to put the reinforcing tapes on. But yeah, just line it up and there it is, that's all it takes. The stuff melts really well. I haven't tried to burn it yet, but I imagine it burns as well, which is why the interfill is a fire suppressant, and you really do need to use it. But there you go, it's as simple as that. Oopsie. Yeah, we'll move you around this way and do these 3. I don't think you really need to see the holes being melted. Not all of them anyway. Yeah, but this fabric has had its first shrink. It's shrink down to 250 degrees. So the point is that the fabric's not going to move anymore relative to the structure, or not significantly anyway. It'll shrink more, but not relative to the structure. So these holes can be punched through now. If you put them through before and then tried to shrink the fabric, you don't have a clue which way the fabric's going to go. And then in to be pulling on the rivets. This way, all the rivets are doing is holding the fabric to the rib. It's no big deal to do, you know, it just follow the instructions. I've got the instructions on the bench, or the painting instructions, and the Stewart Systems instructions open to the page that I'm working on at the moment, and yeah, I just keep coming back and referring to them. Maybe after you've done it a million times, I guess you could probably throw the instructions away, but at my stage, that'd be a brave move. Okay, let's go and turn this into a weekly update. Yeah. Well, that's it. I hope you have a great weekend and good luck with your building and flying. I have flown a couple of times this week. The weather's been too nice. Today's there's a breeze, okay? It's not perfect. You could still fly in it, it'd be lovely. But yesterday and maybe the day before were really, really perfect here. No wind whatsoever. Not freezing cold. It was cool. It was probably 13, 14, 15 degrees, something like that. That's not freezing cold. That's sort of perfect. Actually, I might include some of that video in this on this update as well. Let's see how we go. And yeah, that's it. I'll catch up with you later on, next week at least. Bye now. Well, here it is, midweek. It's a Thursday. It's an absolutely beautiful midwinter's day. It's not cool, the sun's out, not a cloud anywhere to be seen out that direction. The RV's all ready to go. I'll wheel it out, and we're going. I need a little bit of fuel, and then we'll go and have a quick look around here. Yeah, you can't pass up on days like this. They don't. We've had a few in the last week, but you can't pass up on them. You have to use them. All right, let's do it. Yeah, here we go. Well, I don't know whether you can see that or not, but the important thing is it's $2.68 a litre. I can just see the people in Europe going, holy badoli, $2.68 a litre. We haven't seen that in the last 5 years. And people in the US going, what the hell's a litre? Well, that's about a quart, so this is maybe, I don't know, $10 or $11 a gallon, something like that. Good luck. Clipper. Okay, you should be able to hear me now. All things being equal. More up the basket, Charlie. RB6 taxis right from the fuel bowser to runway 09 up for a rocket flight. Make sure that all the smoke plugs are working. I guess we better make sure that it'll idle. And it does. A miracle. Okay, let's go. Okay, harnesses, hatches are all set. Let's do it. We'll settle down into climb at about 105 knots. Initial rate of climb is above 2,000 feet a minute. That's a cruise propeller, you know. We don't get all the horsepower to the air. Nice, it's pretty nice out there. Everything's nice and green. We've had a bit of rain. Yep, the airplane's performing beautifully. We just settled down in a cruise climb here. We're climbing at about 100, that's about 103 knots. Taking up to about 105 where I normally cruise. Just about there, and we're climbing at 1400 feet a minute. So it's pretty good. What are we going to do today? Tomorrow from Basket Charlie, RB6 has departed the circuit area tomorrow. And tracking overhead the field not above 4,500, passing through 4,000 at this time. Well, we'll level out here at 4,000 since I said we're not going to go past 4.5. Some of the power off. We'll settle it down in at my 65% cruise power, which is right about there. Or just trim it up for this altitude and happiness. I just go back this way. That's 4,000 feet. And 65% power. Takes a little bit to settle it down. The airplane's fairly well in trim. I put a bit more fuel in that side. I put about 25 litres in that side and about 15 in this side, more or less. For some reason, this left-hand side of the airplane's always a bit heavier. Got nothing to do with this big lump that's sitting in the left-hand seat, I'm sure. Let's turn around and go back to this one.
tails. We'll throw one to the right. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. On the roll, it just feels. We really need to do one to the left, otherwise we'll get tangled up. There we come, around and back on target. Okay, we'll go back the other way. Okay, we might do, go out this way a bit further to the west, so as not to stir the neighbours up too much. We'll crank the horsepower up a bit. Okay, now we're heading north, at just below 4,000. We're climbing a little bit, we'll try not to do that. There we are, just on 4,140 knots. Indicated, up we go. Keep on full power. Up over the top. Bring the power up, because we're going to go downhill like crazy. And we are back on our northerly heading. A little bit above the altitude we were in at. Okay, we'll try that again. Go back the other way. Right, up we go. That's about the altitude we entered at. I don't feel any bumps, so obviously where we entered at was over that way a little bit, over to the left. Field crossing the runway 09 at full stop. Alaska Charlie turns downwind at the runway 09 at full stop. Okay, we're a fair way downwind. Get rid of the horsepower. On this aeroplane we'll get some carby heat on. On this aeroplane I've got about a half a stage of flap. So we can put that out now. And that'll slow us down into the white after I can get a full stage of flap on. And trim for 70 knots. There we are at 70 knots and we're still high. We're a little bit further out than I normally would be, but we're a little bit higher than we normally would be as well. I'll turn on to final. Still at about 700, we're about 800 feet above the ground. Still on our 70 knots. There we are, lined up on final. Okay, we're now 500 feet above the ground. We'll get rid of the carby heat. And we'll think about going for the second stage of flap. go. Might even make this a glide approach by the looks of things. I haven't touched the power. Yep, there we go. I don't do glide approaches very often, but what the hell, we'll take advantage of that one. Get the tail on the ground. And that's it. That's about as hard as it gets. Get rid of this flap so we're not filling it up with gravel and hammering it with stones.